Thank you all for coming. Welcome on behalf of the Williamson County Library. First of all, how's everybody doing today?
Great.
Thank you.
Great.
Could we get a little louder? It's a beautiful day outside, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Wonderful fall day. It's a great day for music at the library. Today, we have a very special guest named Darwin Moody. He is, in fact, the president of Embassy Music in Nashville, and he brought a few of his musicians and songwriters, and they are Jordan Hobson, Sam Allen, Max Walker, and Robert Moody. All three of them are very talented songwriters, and I hope y'all enjoy the show.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Embassy Music's Artist and Songwriter class. Glad to have you here. So, how many songwriters do we have here? Don't be ashamed. I'm not asking if you have the plague or anything. How many, I'm more of an artist. That's my gig. I'm a performer, more of a singer. Okay, so we mainly loaded with songwriters. Awesome, cool. Well, hey, we got a small group today, which allows us to kind of quickly scan through the room. And what I'd like to do is I'd like for you to quickly say, my name is, and I'm from wherever. And when I'm not at the library, I do this, whatever your day job is. And I jokingly did this in Little Rock and said, hey, keep it under, 53 minutes. Everybody laughed, we went on, and we got to one guy, and he did. He kept it under 53 minutes. It was more like 49 minutes. So that's when I decided that I needed to be a little more exact. So I want you to just basically introduce yourself, because part of the event is to network and to meet other writers here in your local community. And a lot of people get together and end up being co-writers. We've had people co-write from our workshops. It's a very common thing. So let's start right here. And if you you don't have to stand or anything, but just say who you are. And you can look at one of the cameras if you want to, because they're recording you. So be careful what you say.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm Janet Mott, and I'm from Murfreesboro. And I'm
cool.
an assistant to a financial planner is my day job.
Awesome. Well, we call that a real job in the music industry. Nice to have you.
My husband's a musician, so.
Cool. And you're a songwriter, okay?
Yes.
Tara Watson. I live here in Franklin, originally from Oklahoma. My day job is in employee benefits.
Oh, cool. Nice to have you.
I'm Angela Bricknell. I'm originally from England. I live here now. I write contemporary romance, and I came because I thought this would be great research for me.
I love that accent. You could have talked longer and we wouldn't have cut you off. Very nice to have you.
Good to be
Thank you. How long have you been in the U.S.?
18 years.
18 years. Cool. Well, very nice to have you. I've had people as far away from our seminars as far away from London. So it's an honor.
Further than that. Cool.
Further? Well, then you hold the record. Yes.
I'm Claire Mathis, and I'm right now in Brentwood, Tennessee. I'm originally from Oklahoma, and I'm basically a lyricist. I don't ever hear the music, but I do enjoy writing, and it's full-time with me. I'm a screenwriter and author as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, welcome.
Steve, Springfield, originally from Memphis. I'm on a coffee break.
Awesome, cool. We're glad you're here.
Marlene, I'm from Nashville. I just enjoy listening to music.
Fantastic. Well, you're going to get to hear some, and we hope you like it too.
I'm Terry Alford. I'm originally from Atlanta, and I'm an artist, graphic designer.
Cool. Good deal.
And I'm Valerie Augusta. I'm a retired conductor and a PhD in ethnomusicology, and I'm here to audit and listen to what is current and what is happening. But I've done a lot with creativity and improvisation in writing curriculums for schools and for universities.
So you can not only audit what I say and do, but you can audit my artists and songwriters as well. Good deal.
Well,
then
it all comes from the roots, and that's what ethnomusicology is all about.
Cool. Well, then we're expecting the best performance from them. Okay, I'll introduce them later. Let's start with the second row.
My name's Danielle, and I'm from Thompson Station. I'm originally from right outside the Chicagoland area.
Yeah.
And I belong to the Living Writers Collective. We meet in Spring Hill, and I like to write poetry, children's stories, and I'm also working on a novel.
Fantastic.
My name is Rex Ellsworth. I'm from Elkhart, Indiana. And my day job is a contractor, but I'm an artist and songwriter as well.
Fantastic.
Brandon Ellsworth, originally from Elkhart, Indiana as well. His son, songwriter.
Go Irish.
Go Irish, yeah. Hopefully we beat Stanford this year. But, songwriter mainly, I want to be, and then I work in a moving company when I need some money.
Cool. For a real job. Gotcha. Yeah.
I'm Matt Yazurski. I'm from Kentucky. I live here in Franklin. I'm a dentist and just kind of interested in having a nice creative outlet. A lot of creative outlet in the dental office. So.
Cool.
You get in trouble if you get too creative.
Yes. Yes. Yes, sir. You in the back.
I'm Bob Cole. Yazoo City, Mississippi.
Oh, cool. I'm from Mississippi myself. Yeah, Yazoo City. I'm from Hattiesburg originally. Yeah.
And I'm a painter and a poet, and I wrote one song. Never written books.
Awesome.
But anyway, I have an art gallery studio at the factory.
Oh, fantastic. Cool. I'll have to check that out. And who's the lovely lady you have
I'm
here?
the other half. I'm Linda Coleman.
Now, the other half or the better half? Just for clarity's sake. Okay.
We live here in Franklin now. I do a lot of different kind of art. Written lots of poetry. A few of them songs.
Yeah.
But I don't sing, so.
Okay. That's okay. I know the feeling.
Chris Beard, live in Brentwood, originally from Kentucky. I do IT.
Cool. And how did you guys hear about this event today?
Newspaper.
Newspaper?
The library newsletter.
Newsletter?
Email.
Website.
Okay, cool. Well, however you heard about it, we're glad. Do we have some music just out in the back that I didn't see? Yes.
We're here because of Sam Allen. Yeah.
Really? So you came all the way to here?
I came all the way from Dallas. I flew in
Yes.
this morning.
You look similar to the person sitting next to you. So I'm making an assumption that you're Sam's mother-in-law.
I'm Sam's mother-in-law.
Is that a safe bet? Very
I'm
nice
Sam's
to meet you.
mother-in-law, yeah.
Very nice to meet you. Okay. And who's the in red that I don't know?
I am with them also.
Yes,
Yeah.
but you have a name.
Emily.
Yes, well, it's very nice to have you. Good deal. Appreciate you guys coming out. And we're going to talk about two things today, songwriting and artistry. And what better way to kick off than with some music, an original song at that. So, what I'd like to do is kick off with Jordan Hobson.
Thank you all for coming out. Like I said, my name is Jordan Hobson, and since y'all introduced yourself, I want to. I've been living in Nashville for 2 years now. Came down to be a singer-songwriter and an artist and pursued the dream. Originally from Iowa, so it's a little bit different culture, but it's pretty awesome down here. So Midwest cornfed boy, Indiana guys know what I'm talking about. The song's called Pocket. California dreaming, lots and lots of thinking. All that's on the beach sitting all alone. That San Diego sunrise reminds me of your eyes. So careful, where you would go. Like a boomerang around the world. Who'd have thought that you'd be coming back so soon? You got me in your pocket. got me in your pocket. It's like a crazy trance. It's like the right romance. All wrapped up with everything we do. As summer turns to autumn, we watch the leaves fall and fall apart.
We need to adjust the treble or bass in here.
Well, we need volume. It's like this song. We bring the volume down.
Come back to where we are. You got me in your pocket, and I got you, and I like it. Sitting around while you paint your toes, holding your hand while we watch your favorite show. You got me in your pocket. All my friends say that it's a done deal. 'Cause everyone knows just how I feel. Your turn, I want y'all to sing with me. You got me in your pocket, and I got you. And I like it. Keep going. You got me in your pocket, and I got you. And I like it. Sitting around while you paint your toes, holding your hand while we watch your favorite shows. You got me in your pocket, and I got you, and I like it. I'm in your pocket.
Thank you, Jordan. Did you like that song? Yeah. Cool. I noticed you were singing along with it. For those of you who can take notes, whether you got a notepad or whether you got your iPad or iPhone, feel free to take notes. And I'm going to require you to, if you have something. If you don't have anything, that's okay. But for those of you who can take notes, number one, write songs with great melodic hooks. Okay? Sing that hook one more time for me.
You got me in your pocket, and I got you, and I like.
And you guys sing those two lines with him again.
You got me in your pocket, I got you, and I like it.
That's what you call a great melodic hook. Some of you are going to be 2 days from now singing that, and your friend, spouse, husband, whatever is going to be saying, "What are you singing?" And you didn't even realize you were humming it, because a great hook is infectious. You hear it and you cannot get it out of your head. Talking about a melodic hook. And melody draws people in. Now, how many of you write lyrics? Okay, the deal is the melody draws you in typically, but then you hear the lyric. And if you don't believe me about that, what's the song that everybody sings on New Year's Eve in Times Square in New York? How many of you, by a showing of hands, can quote me word by word the first verse and chorus of that song? How many of you, by a showing of hands, could hum me that melody? Let me hear it. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows it. So, melody reigns king many times in a lot of songwriting. So, write something melodically that grabs people and draws them in and makes them listen. Number two that I'm going to give you is going to be with an example. I would like to ask one of my co-writers who just walked in the door from his other day job to do a song. And his name is Robert Moody. Would you make welcome Robert Moody? Did you enjoy Robert's performance? Did you believe his performance? Leads to point number 2. Write songs you are passionate about. If I were to ask you artists, how many singer-songwriters do we have in here? Raise your hand. Okay. If I were to ask you, are you passionate about all the songs that you write? Would you raise your hand and say yes? No right or wrong answer. Honest artist I have today, because that answer is correct. You're not passionate about everything. When I do, as an A&R, when I sit down with an artist and talk with them, I ask them a series of questions. I interview them. I don't interrogate them like an attorney, but I interview them to find out about them and their heart and their passion. And in doing so, I always ask them one question that I'm going to ask you. And I'm going to ask you, singer-songwriters, to write this down in your notes. You don't have to tell me. But if you were to go on tour and you could only do one song that means something to you, which song would that be? How many of you know right off the bat which song that would be? Or, let me rephrase that. How many could put it on a short list? Hey, it's down to 1 or 2 or 3 songs. Okay? Those are the songs that you should be singing. You should write songs that you are passionate about and that you believe. I co-wrote that song with Robert. We had a writing session, a regular writing session. And it was a song that we needed to write. And I find that even though I've written folk, I've written pop, I've written Christian, I've written country, I've written R&B, I find that ever so often when I sit down at this piano, at my piano, that's a go-to song because it said something that I was passionate about and that I needed to say, and it was something as a songwriter that I needed to write. So, number 2 is write songs that you're passionate about. Not far from here, I was judging at a songwriting contest a couple years ago. And if I told you the place, you'd all know it because you've probably been there. But I was judging the songwriting contest, and this guy got up playing a song. And he talked about the back roads, drinking sweet tea in his Chevy truck. Obviously, it's a country song, you know. And he was telling all of this stuff, whatever. And I looked over at the judge, and I said, I don't believe him. And the judge looked at me like, what? What are you talking about? I said, I simply don't believe him. See, I grew up in the South, if you can't tell by the accent. I grew up in a small town in Mississippi. Before living in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, I lived in a small little town called Lucedale. So I know all about that. His experiences and what he was describing, I live that. I understand that. I grew up with that. But I didn't believe him because he was writing a song as opposed to writing something he was passionate about. He was writing a song he thought may sell CDs or may do well on iTunes. He was writing a song that he thought somebody may like. As a songwriter, you're better to write your heart. And it shows with the songs that you write. It reveals, they'll know if it was written from the heart. They'll know. Fast forward, friends of mine, one of my co-writers and actually one of my prodigies, he and his wife, I was having dinner at their house, and we typically had a writing session after dinner. I liked it because she was a wonderful cook, and then we would write music. And on this particular night, she looked at me and said, hey, would it be okay if we go over to a showcase? She worked for a label at that point. And I said, sure. Whatever you want. You just fix me a great dinner. We'll go wherever you want to go. So we get in the car. I have no idea where I'm going, but it turns out that it's Country Music Week. And they were doing a private showcase, one of the major labels at the Country Music Hall of Fame in the Ford Theater. Anybody been in the Ford Theater? I've done showcases there. It's beautiful. Seats 1,000 people. It's nice. And there was only about this many people in there. I was the only one in there he was not a member of the A&R staff. And they had to get, she had gone ahead and got permission for me to be there. So I was just there to hear their act that they were getting ready to present. Behind me, this girl walks in. She has this big old, like a Miller Lite or something like that. And she yells or whatever, and I look at her, you know, she's very lively and whatever. I'd never laid eyes on her before. Neither had basically anybody else at that point. She gets up on stage and she sings a song entitled Redneck Woman. And you know what? Unlike the guy down the road that I judged, I believed her. I believed every word she said. You could tell she meant it. And I watched her before she would go on, before that song was released, and before she went on to become a huge hit in country music and have a huge mega song that was a career song. So I heard 3 artists that night, and I love to do this, if you can't tell already by now. I love this kind of thing. So when we got in the car, my friends asked me, said, well, if you don't mind, would you give us a critique? I said, oh, I was hoping that you would ask. So I said, this artist, you're never going to hear from again. They're very talented, because they were introducing 3 new artists to, all of them were songwriters too, incidentally. 3 new artists to the label Country Music Week, which is the big, if you're going to introduce, that's the big time to introduce them. I said, you'll never hear again from the first one. I was correct. Several years later, I'm correct. She's talented, was great, but she's not going to connect with radio. Number 2, maybe a one-hit wonder, and that'll be about it. I was correct on that. But when we got down to Gretchen, I said, that last girl, I said that one song she did, and she did a couple songs, but I said that one song, Redneck Woman, is going to be a career song for her. So I found myself tuning into country radio because she said, well, we're getting ready to release it to country radio and blah, 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 blah. And so I just tuned in and listened. But when I watched the video and I saw her around, you remember, have you seen the Gretchen Wilson video, her going around in the mud, whatever? You know, I believe her. So it doesn't really matter what it is that you're writing about, but write stuff that you believe in. Write stuff that means something to you, because it will be revealed, and the audience will. They've seen so much reality TV, they know when they can believe someone. Okay, number 1 was, for those taking notes. Okay, and our example of that was, and what else? Can I hear the melody or the first line? I wanted to hear the melody. You need help him out too? Okay, it hasn't been as long as around as Old Lang Syne, so we'll give you credit there. Okay, number 2 was, okay, the next one we would like to exemplify with Max Walker. Would you make welcome to the stage, Max Walker?
A little shorter than this. All right, so like you said, my name's Max. I'm living in Nashville right now. Originally from a small town called Hays, Kansas. You guys have probably never heard of it. It's real. Yeah, and this song is called Songs We Don't Know. You guys like it? back, there's no time for looking back, looking back. There are too many sunsets to see. Yeah, I see, I wanna feel the same beneath my feet. Yeah, my feet, as we're singing songs we don't know, playing loud on our radio. Hey, 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 today we are free. Hey, 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 today it's you and me. Yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 today we're all we need.
Thank you, Maxwell. Okay, if it's okay for me to pick on a few people in the audience, I like to observe the audience, watch what they're doing, almost like the Secret Service would be doing if the president was in the room. When my artist is in the room, I'm watching everybody else, part of what I do. And so 2 people that I'm going to pick on is the better half right here. I noticed that you were nodding your head in rhythm as soon as he started. May I ask why you did that?
I always do that.
Okay, I like that answer.
I feel it, I guess that's fine.
Cool. Now, our camera lady here in the back, I noticed amid doing her duties, and she's working, but amid doing her duties, I noticed that her left foot was patting and she was right in time as soon as the song started. Did you realize you were doing that? Okay, why do you think you were doing that?
It was catchy.
Yeah. And she has led to my point. That is, grab people in the very beginning. The next point is grab people in the very beginning of the song. Don't hope that you're going to get them by the bridge. It's too late by that point. But draw them in the beginning of the song, whether that is the lyric, whether it's the melody, or in this case, the vibe. Okay, strum a little bit of that. Start at the top. Sing from the top. Okay, see, we've got him doing the same thing. All guilty of it. And he's looking at me like, well, what did I do wrong? You see my point? It's infectious. It draws you in. So as a writer, you want to draw them in. From the top again. Okay. Thank you, Max. Did you know what else he's doing? Did you see that he is repeating that melody? He is what I call framing it. He's repeating that melody. He's got a great thing, and he drives it home. Okay? He's got something really good happening melodically. Not only does he draw you in the beginning, but he frames it. So you know what that is. So you can kind of hum along even before you can sing along. Okay. Are you enjoying the live music? Yeah, kind of cool, isn't it? Okay. Next point will be demonstrated through the music of somebody that I discovered right down the road at a place called Puckett's. How many of you do Puckett's? Hear great music at Puckett's? And you hear great singing too. I heard him play at Puckett's. I was judging there one night. And I looked and I saw not only a songwriter, I saw an artist. It was a preliminary night, and I say this respectfully, but it didn't really matter to me what the other judges thought. As vice versa. If they see an artist or a songwriter they're interested in, they're not concerned about what the other judges at the table think. I thought, this is a special talent. So you can see if you agree with my assessment after he performs this original song he's written. Would you make welcome Sam Allen?
having someone else that knows me like I do. And being asleep with you is like being asleep with no need for dreaming. 'Cause it's a dream come true just being here with you. You're almost everything I need. If I could eat, if I could drink, if I could breathe you in with just one touch. You're one of my necessities, the recipe for all I need is you and food and water and a toothbrush. And being alive with you is like being alive for the first time, when the pieces all fit just right and I wanna sing. And being awake with you is like being awake with eyes stretched open, where the sunshine seems it's glowing over everything. You're almost everything I need. If I could eat, if I could drink, if I could breathe you in with just one touch. You're one of my necessities, the recipe for all I need is you and food and water and a toothbrush. Maybe someday I will find a way to make myself survive with just your love. Oh, you lock me up and strip me down and simply wrap your arms around me, and that'll be enough. 'Cause you're almost everything I need. If I could eat, if I could drink, if I could breathe you in with just one touch. You're one of my necessities, the recipe for all I need is you and food and water. It's you and food and water. It's you and food and water and a toothbrush.
Do you think that I picked the right songwriter that night? I noticed you guys were listening very closely. Why? No right or wrong answer.
Just a quiet song that you can tell was a meaningful song and touch feelings that you had or that we have. Just wanted to hear where you're going.
So hypothetically speaking, if in fact his wife were in this room, you would think she should be very proud of that song?
I would think so.
And appreciative? I bet she is. Okay. I'm not supposed to pick on her. Okay. Why else were you guys listening?
To see where it's going,
Yeah.
how I'm related to it.
Excuse me?
Toothbrush, how I'm related to the toothbrush.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Tell the
That
story.
is really low, kind of slowly drop dressing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said telling the story.
Yeah, stories are great. Plato said the man who tells stories will rule society. Yeah, stories are great. Come on in, ma'am. Have a seat. The next point, number 6. You are paying attention, aren't you? Okay. The next point is write lyrics with uniqueness. Write lyrics with uniqueness. Now, how many of you heard 150 zillion love songs in your life? Okay, that's common. So to find that topic and find a unique way of saying it. How many of you have ever heard a love song and the title is Toothbrush? Until this moment today. So it's a unique way of saying I love you. So as writers, what you want to do is find a unique way of saying something. Let me assure you that publishers are looking for that very thing. They're looking for something that makes you as a songwriter or your songs stand out among a zillion others. With the show Nashville and several other shows that are being taped here in the city, what's happening is that a zillion people are coming to Nashville and everybody has what? A song and usually what else? How many of these have you seen in Nashville? Try to go to Nashville International and not see one of these coming through the luggage rack, okay? Let me hand this back gently. So, they're being bombarded with songs. So they're looking for hit songs, but they're also looking for uniqueness. So uniqueness matters. Okay, so let's see for those who are taking notes, point number 1. Say it a little louder for me.
Right songs with great love.
Okay, and our examples on that was? Okay. And Jordan that we keep leaving out too. Okay. Pocket. Okay, interesting title itself. Just the word pocket. Speaking of uniqueness that we just talked about. Pocket. Cool title. Cool title. Can I tell the story on that? Cool. Now that you see I have public permission. When he brought the song, it was about a girl, but it was about a breakup. And you know how everybody needs to vent every so often, and you do that with your mom, your dad, your friend, whoever, you know, but you hope those conversations are not heard by anybody else. Can you raise your hand? Okay. Sometimes writers do that in songs. Those don't go over too well. So, but I love the hook of this song. I thought it was so good. And I said, you know what, we're not going to focus on the bad stuff. We're going to focus on the good stuff. So we sat down and we rewrote that. And you never knew that it was a venting session. Because it sounds just like a cool, what? Cool love song. So here's a little side thing. Be willing to rewrite. Rewriting is a great thing. Okay, point number 1 was melodic hooks. Number 2, write what you're passionate about. Because we have some people who are just walking in. I want them to hear these points. Next.
Grab people in the very beginning.
Excuse me?
Grab people in the very beginning.
Grab people in the very beginning. And also have songs with vibe and energy. You remember the sensation on the Grammys the night that Ricky Martin? Did any of you see that or see a clip of it later when he was on the Grammys? Okay, the Latin singer, okay? His song, what's the song? Yes, his song made people want to dance, okay? So you want songs with vibe and energy. Next point?
Right there is with uniqueness.
With uniqueness. Okay. We're starting there, and also we had said that we would do some demo critiques. So, the way we'd like to do those, we're going to just kind of do a few random. How many of you have a lyric sheet, whether it's on your phone or whether it's a lyric sheet, or whether you have on your phone and you would like to play it for us? And what I want to hear too is just a verse and chorus, and here's why. You know what publishers listen to? What does publishers listen to? A verse and a chorus. Many times they don't even do that much. So if you don't, in the first 20 seconds, if you don't grab their attention, they've moved on to the next. True story. a lady who spoke, a hit songwriter who spoke at one of our seminars, music conferences several years ago. Her daughter was working for one of the top producers in town. She passed her on the road, and she just saw her throwing stuff in the back seat. And she called her. She said, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" She said, "Oh, I'm reviewing CDs for XYZ's, this big label artist." And she said, "Well, why? So what are you throwing in the back seat?" She said, "The CDs that I'm not keeping." So on her ride from Franklin to Music Row, she had a zillion CDs to listen to. So she would listen to a little bit of it. If it didn't grab her, she threw it in the back seat. It was going in the trash. And many of these were written by, published writers too. You have a short time to catch their attention. So today we're going to do about a verse and a chorus. You have one? Do you have it on your phone? Or would you rather do it on a guitar?
I would rather do.
Well, I bet you one of my nice would be, I'll allow you to do that. Small fee of maybe $2,000 or something, but no, they'll be happy.
Just, I'm going to pick it up.
Cool. Okay. Stand right here in the center. Or actually, we'll put you on the microphone. And
I don't.
Yeah.
You guys.
And what we want is a verse and chorus only.
Just verse and chorus?
That's right.
The song's called Runaway. So good.
She tells you she's happy, but right before she walks away, she will leave you and then be stuck in your mind all day. She tells you she needs you, but her heart's with someone else. She don't run from you, she's running from herself, 'cause she's a runaway. And she will leave you and take your heart away. And she won't be too, she's everything that she thinks. She don't know what she needs. She'll make you think she's here to stay, but she's a runaway.
Thank you.
Tell us that lyric, first verse and chorus.
Let me think. She tells you she's happy, but her heart says something else. Let me think. I might have made up some of it too. She tells you she's happy, but her heart says something else. She will make you smile and leave without something like
Keep
that.
going, keep going.
Now that she needs you, but she'll tear your life apart. She loves making love, but hates to give her heart. She's a runaway.
Keep going.
She will leave you and take your heart away. She won't me to. She's everything that she'd be. She don't know what she needs. She'll make you think she's here to stay. She's a runaway.
Cool. Good job. Okay, critique time. Thoughts?
I think it's great.
She thinks it's great.
I love it.
You've got one fan for sure in this room. Anybody else? Two fans. Yeah, so you have one built in. Any other feedback? Anything stood out to you about the song? Yes.
I thought it was amazing.
Awesome. Any other thoughts?
I like the line about making love but not giving your heart. That was really good.
Gotcha. Cool. Sam?
That's actually exactly what I was going to say. I'll be real.
Yeah. You're not just agreeing with your wife.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. There was an interesting contrast in the verse. Can you tell me the section B of the verse?
Like how.
Can you just quote me the lyric?
Yeah. She tells you she's happy, but her heart says something else. She will make you something. I messed up the lyrics, but she will make you smile and leave without a sound. Just rhymes with sound the first.
Okay. There's a contrast in that in the section, in that verse that he did that works really well too. And I agree, emotional part was the line that Brooke pointed out. What is the title? I'm not asking you. What is the title of the song?
Runaway.
Runaway. Would you say he framed it really well? I would concur. Did you write that by yourself? Or are you a co-writer?
I usually co-write, but that one's by myself.
Okay, cool. That's great that you co-write. I think you're a very gifted writer. That's my opinion. Give him a hand. Okay, some of you have some lyrics here. Yeah. Is it would you say it is a song lyric or is it a poem?
No, it's song lyrics.
Cool. Read me the first verse and chorus, please.
The years pass so quick. Oh, I guess I need to tell you the title.
You don't have to tell me the title.
Okay.
I don't want you to, actually.
Okay. The years pass so quickly, it's hard to believe. Not too long ago, you were sitting on my knee. Now you're a grown man, son. Now I'm turning gray. Someday you'll remember what I'm telling you today. Life is short no matter how long we're here on earth. The only thing that matters is we've experienced new birth. I look forward to the day I'll see Jesus face to face. As much as I love you, I'll be glad to leave this place. I'm going where I'll sing a song that I have never sung. When you're the age that I am now, I'll be forever young. I'll be forever young.
Awesome. Thank you. Give her a hand. Let me ask you some quick questions on that. How long ago did you write that?
About 3 weeks ago.
Oh, 3. So pretty neat. Cool. And what inspired you to write it?
I got a piece of mail one day for my dad, and he had been deceased for about 2 months. And I looked at the mail and I said, oh, I know, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of another one I just wrote. This one, just one day, I was thinking about how that we live forever, you know, in the spirit realm.
Yeah.
And I just thought we'll be forever young. And so I just wrote that down, and then that was years ago. I wrote that down.
And so you wrote this song how long ago?
About 3 weeks ago.
Okay. And if I may ask, how long ago did you say your dad passed away?
It was in July of 2010.
Okay, cool. Many times you'll find out after a loss or a tragedy that you will do more writing. And you should. It's very good therapy, and it's also many times that when you're very vulnerable and you're even more honest with yourself. And it may be a period of time because people grieve longer than others. As far as the critique on the song, my take is this. I feel it's very honest. You can tell she's writing it from the heart. I like what you said. I think what I would look for, the main change I would make in it would be to find and the title is, I'm sorry, I didn't ask you that.
Forever Young.
Forever Young, okay. I would find maybe another hook to wrap everything around. Can I see that? Because I'm just listening to it.
Actually, it's the first lyric I've ever written. I've always written poetry. So.
You know what? When I look at the lyric, it does work. It does work. I'll let my co-writers up here take a look at it too, and see if they agree. And see if they think that works as the hook, or if you should explore. So we'll just get a few opinions. Do you think it works as a title, or she should explore?
I knew it was the title before she said it was the title.
Yeah, good deal. Yeah, very nice lyric. And I hear it as very believable, too. I feel it's very honest, and I think it's got the impact of the passion in it.
Thank you.
Good job. Okay. Are you enjoying the session so far? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Let's talk a little bit about becoming an artist. Oh, before we do that though, do we have anybody else who has, say, yeah, I've got a song, I'm willing to be a guinea pig, and I want it critiqued. I have a lyric I want critiqued. Yeah.
Well, I guess it's sort of a song. I've been told from some of my writers' friends that a lot of what I write sounds like song lyrics, so they kind of try to give me a little nudge to come here. Would you mind if I read the whole thing, or you just want me to read one verse?
How many verses do you have? 4. Is there a chorus as well?
Well, I think so, but I haven't decided which one.
Cool. Go ahead and read it.
Over the bridge, I look down, ice-cold waters of this town. Looking back, all I see is a picture of you and me. A frame lined in silver, oil seeping through. A canvas too fragile to hold me and you. A burlap couldn't have either. Imprints we made, consumed by fire. Smoke, a perfect outline, a morning shadow that lasts a lifetime. I am wandering through the abyss, the Bermuda Triangle's hidden kiss. I said in my heart would never return. To let something go is a lesson learned. It won't ever come back, even though it was mine. Never again will I cross that line.
Is that all?
Yes.
Oh, that went by fast. Okay. Opinions before I share mine. Thoughts?
Pretty words.
I like that.
Pretty words.
I like that line for Bermuda Triangles in the kiss. That's very, aside from being unique, it's very imaginative, and you can think about what good can come out of something. So,
Yeah, I thought that was, with him, I think that was a cool, very cool line. Great line. Any other thoughts?
I'm trying to currently transfer over from my poetry into songwriting.
Okay. Here are my thoughts. And again, I'm coming, from hearing one song. I've never met her before today, have we met? Okay. I didn't think we have. So, I don't have a crystal ball, incidentally, which if I did, that would be very helpful in my industry. So, I'm working with very limited knowledge here, but just based on what the little I saw is this, and heard. I would say that she's extremely, which is obvious, very poetic. I think that probably what I've seen with a lot of times when lyricists are very poetic, they can write a lot of stuff, but they have trouble walking up to one hook, one idea. Like you said, you're still trying to decide. Okay. As a writer, I think, when you write these type of lyrics, I think, number one, you'll benefit from co-writing. And I think probably, you play an instrument? Okay, that was my thought as well. I figured that. I would recommend that you write with a melody writer, someone who just writes really good melodies, and do co-writing, and then work on bringing it toward a title. Okay? Because, like, let's say, when you have a baby, how many of you had a baby? How many of you ladies had a baby? Okay. Okay. Do you typically have a name for that baby when you leave that hospital? You do. You can call it the baby, for so long, but you got to give it, there's got to be a name on that birth certificate. And songwriting-wise, it should be very obvious that this is the title. Okay? So like we saw with his song, we knew it was Runaway. We want to frame the hook. So I would advise working on framing the titles. When I say the hook, I mean the lyrical hook, and doing some co-writing. But I think you've got some very good writing skills. I think you do. And I think your friends were wise in telling you should come out today to a songwriter's workshop, whether it was ours or someone else's. And I think you should pursue writing and see where it takes you. I think you're very, very gifted. And I love that Bermuda line. Yes, I wish I had thought of it. Okay, let's talk about artistry. How many of you, raise your hands again, because we've had a few people walk in. How many of you perform? Okay, so we mainly are got just songwriters today. Okay, well, cool. Well, we're still going to be equal opportunity. So we're going to speak to the artists as well. Number one, in becoming an artist, work on your craft. Work on your craft. Remind me your name? Brandon? Okay. You play guitar. You write. You sing. And how often do you perform?
I used to do a lot more, but probably every month.
Okay. Now, when you play, do you just sing only? You never say hi or speak to the audience?
Well,
do you have to talk to the
I have
audience
to talk to them, yeah.
Okay. So right now, I've counted 4 hats that he has to wear. He has to work on guitar. He has to work on songwriting. He has to work on singing. He has to work on talking. As an artist, you've got to work on your craft. And sometimes that's a lot to work on. It keeps you busy. But you have to do that if you want to become a great artist. Now, I'm choosing my words carefully because I realize I'm being videotaped, and so I can't name the artist that I want to name publicly because of what I'm getting ready to say. But I'm going to tell you, there's a very famous artist in this town. Say it this way, there's a very, very famous artist in this town who is a major success. And he's done great things. And to be honest with you, I don't know that he would, be considered the best vocalist you've ever heard, or the best guitar player you've ever heard, or even the best songwriter. But he has sold millions and millions. And I think one of the reasons is his work ethic. I think when other, even major artists are sleeping, he's plotting out his next big show. He's looking for great songs. He's co-writing with somebody, but he's working on his craft. And he had a very rags to riches story. And I'd love to tell you his name, but I'm being videotaped. So, my point is, as an artist, Brandon, if you say, hey, I want to do this, then you have to do those things. And that means from going to a voice lesson at 1 o'clock to a writing session, at 2:30, and work on the different things. And I've never seen a perfect artist. I jokingly say if artists were perfect, I would be unemployed. Okay? So most artists need work on something. They need help on something. So as an artist, you want to do that. But let me turn it because our room is full of writers. Okay. You've got to, as writers, work on your craft as well. And here's something that's a great idea, is write something daily. It doesn't have to be a full song. It can simply be just a line or two. You get one good line that you write down. And what's called a hook book. Not a cookbook, but a hook book. And or write it on your phone. But write down a line every day if you want to become serious about writing. And for that matter, not even selling millions of records, but just it being good. How many of you as a writer understand that whether it's recorded, it hits the charts or whatever, if you write, you want it to be good? How many of you agree with me? Feel that way? Yeah. You want to make great art. You want to make great music. You want to write great and compelling lyrics. So work on your craft. Be willing to co-write. How many of you co-write? Raise your hand. How many of you co-write? Now let me tell you, if I were a doctor and you were in my office, I would look at you and say, we've got a serious problem. Okay. If you look at the hit songs that are coming out of Nashville, which happens to be the songwriting community, not of the state or of the country, but of the world, you will find that most songs are what? Co-written. I wonder if they know something. I wonder if there's something going on there. Co-writing brings out the best in us. Songs I've written with these guys right here, I would have never written by myself. They would have never written by themselves. Co-writing brings out the best. So I'm hoping that some of you today, let me speak to the writers. How many of you say, I feel better with lyrics? I'm stronger at lyrics. Raise your hand. Don't be ashamed. Feel better at lyrics. Okay. How many of you say, I feel better at melody? Raise your hand. Feel better at melody. Okay. Do you see the collaborations that should be going on? Okay. Now let me pick on you. Your first name again is?
Danielle.
Danielle. I should remember that. My middle name is Dan. So I should be able to remember that. Danielle, those who raise their hands for melody writing, raise your hands again. Hey, I'm stronger at melody. I'd be talking to them after the show. It's a good with networking. And let me tell you about networking. When I was in that little small town in Mississippi, a writer and I was writing a bunch of bad songs, like we all do when we get started, trying to get my music heard by anybody who would listen. I came to a music conference. I met someone there. I had a song that ended up being recorded through meeting someone. I ended up having a song that was co-written by someone at that conference. That song went on to be recorded by the London Philharmonic Orchestra out of England. And not the song, but the album it was on won an award the next year. All because I came to a songwriting clinic and I met a co-writer. So co-writing is good. It brings out the best in us. Okay, number one was? Okay, we're on the artist section now. Work on your craft. Number two, which is going to sound similar to what I've said. And Brandon, I know this is just going to make you so happy to hear this. Treat it like a job. Now, being that there's very few artists in this room besides mine, I'm going to pick on you. Is that okay? Never mind. Do I have permission to pick on him? Good. I asked the one in charge. Okay. Tell us what you do. Are you in school? What do you do? Do you work? Or what?
I dropped out of school twice. I went for music first time, then public relations, and switched my major second time. So no school. I work at a moving company with started our own thing. Kind of do that when I can, but any other time, I'm writing, kind of in a band, and doing a few things.
Cool. So, how many hours a week, if you don't mind me asking, do you spend at your moving company or your day job?
About like 30 at most.
Okay. And what would you say that you're spending on your music hours-wise?
Honestly, probably 30, 25.
Okay.
Less, because
that's a pretty good number.
Sleep,
yeah. Well, technically you're supposed to sleep. Yeah. Okay. You've got to be willing to invest the time. And point number two is treat it like a job. For those of you writing this down, treat it like a job. Now, how many of you ever gone into work sick? Why would you do such a silly thing? You know? Well, you may want to pay the bills, okay? As an artist, you have to treat it like a job. And you have to put the hours in. And I know it's a balancing act when you're working a day job and doing something else. So don't misunderstand me. I get that. I understand that. I've done that myself before working in the music industry. But you have to treat it like a job. And understand, too, that this is advice if you want to pursue commercial success. Some of you here just to write just for fun, and understand that's okay. Don't let anyone make you feel like that you've got to be a quote professional songwriter or you've got to seek out after a publishing deal. You know, you can write for therapy, just for fun, or for whatever reason that you want to. So understand that advice, just like you go into a doctor's office, he may give one person one set of advice, or he or she may give somebody else a totally different advice. So this is applicable, a lot of this is applicable if you're wanting to, get your songs published or out there, and you want to be more successful as an artist. But understand, if it's just an outlet for you, something fun, like going fishing. Like, fishing is a good example. I'm from South Mississippi, and there's a lot of fishermen there. Do you know what percentage of fishermen make a living fishing? Do we have any fishermen in here? One. Okay. Do you know how many, Zach, fishermen make a living fishing? What percentage?
Well, I actually don't make a living fishing. I actually fish for the food, for the
food,
for the fish.
Would you like to speculate what percentage makes a living fishing? Percentage-wise.
15% maybe?
I think it's somewhere between 2 to 3%. Do you know why the other 97 do it? There's a better line. Let me rewrite that line. Almost. Why do they do it? No. I'm a lyricist, so I can say the line a little better. They love to fish. Yeah. And it's okay if you're in the 97% that just loves to write. You don't have to make a living doing it. Okay? But if you want to be in that 2 or 3% of fishermen who are on the outdoor world and they do these tournaments and those kind of things, then you've got to be willing to put the hours and time into it. Okay. I'd like to hear some more music. Would that be okay? Is that cool? You like my little blend of education and music? Yeah, cool. I do too. We were going to do it that way, either way, whether you like it or not, but I'm glad you like it. Okay. Let me have one of my guys. Who do I have up first? You? Well, then let's have Jordan come up for us. Welcome back, Jordan.
Hey. One of the things you want to do when you're an artist is make sure you're playing it too, working on your craft. So. Reminds me of a joke, actually. You guys got time for a joke? So what's the difference between a guitar, a tuna, and a pot of glue? Anyone know? Well, you can tune a guitar, but you can't guitar a tuna.
No.
Anyone get stuck in the pot of glue?
Yeah.
Glue's sticky, it's a double punchline. This song is called Trespassing.
Spending my days looking over my shoulder, I find myself hiding from you. You thought that we could last forever, but
Number 3, which I feel like he just exemplified, that is entertain your audience. Entertain your audience. I feel like, and I've worked with him a short time, but I feel like that he sang to you guys like there were 5,000 people in this room. And as an artist, that's what you want to do. You want to give them everything. Just like, I've looked at my artists and I say, hey, treat tonight's performance as if this is the last time you're ever going to get on stage. What would you do? How would you perform? Take it seriously. Entertain your audience. What would you want your legacy to be? If, in fact, that was the last time the video cameras were going to catch you performing, what would you want people on YouTube to see? That whatever that is, go up on stage and give that to me tonight. That's what I want to see. And that's what your audience wants to see. Entertain your audience. Okay. Number 4. I like this one. This is one of my favorite points. Engage your audience. Has that happened today?
Yeah.
More times than you could count. If I were giving away a free trip to Hawaii to those who could tell me how many times that point has happened since 2 o'clock, I'd probably be going to Hawaii and not you, because there's too many to count. Okay, grab your guitar, sit right there. Sing a line of the chorus of Pocket.
You got me in your pocket.
Sing along.
And I got you, and I like it.
Okay. Oh, they want to do it again. Do it again. Sorry.
You got me in your pocket. And I got you, and I like it.
Okay. Did you notice how when he did that earlier in the show that he had you sing along? As an artist, your audience wants to sing along. They like music or they wouldn't be there. It's not like somebody held them at gunpoint and made them come, okay? It's not like they were drugged to the show. They like music. And guess what? Even if they sing really great or they sing really bad, what do they want to do? They want to sing. And they want to be a part of the show. To exemplify that point, I took a huge box of Krispy Kreme donuts. How many of you like Krispy Kreme donuts? I took a huge box, and I had a huge crowd that day, and I just walked around, and I had different ones, and I just said, look at these donuts, and I showed them the donuts, just like this. And camera people, I'm sorry, I realize I'm keeping you busy. So I would show them the donuts, and you could just see their mouth starting to water. And I would say, do you like donuts? And they said, yeah, I do. And I never offered them one. And then I had a little water bottle up there, and I took a bite, slow bite of it, and I said, oh, that tastes so good. And I would look at them, somebody I knew would really like those donuts. You could read it on their face. I said, you'd be amazed at how great it tastes. And then I said, just out of curiosity, how many of you have ever been guilty, artists, of being in front of your audience and not giving them, eating a donut in front of them and not sharing any of them? They looked at me like I was crazy. I said, yeah, you've done it 1,000 times. But it's not with donuts, it's with music. And I said, you haven't let them sing. You've been content to sing your song for them, but not engage them and let them be a part. Then, being the nice guy that I am, from South Mississippi, I'd had my staff ready with knife to cut up the donuts, and they passed the donuts around. And you'd be surprised how well that point went over as they were eating their favorite Krispy Kreme donut. My point is, engage your audience. Did you notice I introduced myself, but what was the first thing that I did, artist? As soon as I said, hey, this is me and I'm here, what did I do? Exactly. I made each one of you speak. I made you talk. throughout this session, when we've critiqued, I said, what do you think? I've engaged you. Have I stayed behind this podium? No. It's amazing when you walk really close to somebody, they really pay attention to what you say when you get up in their space. Okay? So, as artists, Brandon, you want to engage them. You want to pull them out. You want them to feel that they were a part of the event that you're putting on. Okay? Now, I know sometimes you don't have the liberty, but we were doing a gig where it was just an interesting situation. There was no sound there. So we had no microphone. So I told my artist after that show, and he projected really well. It was a small room. But I said, next time, I want to see you walk down in the middle and sing in the very center. I was at a Keith Urban. You like Keith Urban? Okay. One of my artists was opening for him in Knoxville, Tennessee. And so I wanted to see that show. So I drove to Knoxville, Tennessee, in this big university there, arena. And Keith put on a show. And let me tell you, if you've never seen Keith, he gives you his money's worth. He sang so long, I felt like I should buy another ticket. I felt like I still owed him more money because, he put on a show. But one thing he did during the show is that he circled around with his bodyguards, but he played his electric guitar solo, and he circled all through the bottom floor of that. He put on a show. Great artists know how to do that. They know how to engage their audience. Okay. Number one was work on your craft. Number two, number three, number four, engage your audience. Okay, it's time for some more music. My next artist, let's hear another new song. And this one's hot off the press, isn't
Sorry,
it?
I just interrupted you. Say what?
This one's hot off the press, isn't it?
Yeah, I was about to say, I just wrote this one a couple days ago. It's about a breakup, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Been searching for a day now. I can't seem to find a way out. The way you left me was so cold. The nights are colder when I'm alone. And I tell myself I'm doing okay. And I feel it too when you are away. But then I ask myself how long until I can hold you back in my arms. 'Cause I'm still waiting for you now, like the desert waits for rain. I'm still missing you somehow. In my heart you will remain, 'cause I'm still waiting. I keep walking down this mental road, thinking of all that you wrote. On my heart it stays like a scar, and it still kills me that we're apart. 'Cause I'm still waiting for you now, like the desert waits for rain. I'm still missing
my head. It's like you're everywhere and it pulls me down. 'Cause I'm still waiting for you now, like the desert waits for rain. I'm still missing you somehow. In my heart you will remain. 'Cause I'm still waiting for you now, like the desert waits for rain. I'm still missing you somehow. In my heart you will remain. 'Cause I'm still waiting.
I get the feeling that he likes that song. What do you think? Do you feel it? Sing me that hook. See if you can sing me the hook. Part of the chorus. Once more with feeling, as they say. Okay? One more time, chorus. Okay. What was one of the first things we said about songwriting, our songwriting notes? Right, great melodic hooks. That's a great melodic hook. Another one will be stuck in your head that you'll be singing for the next few days. There's no charge for that. It's free too. Great job. Great job. And that's a new song. And it's something I look at as an artist, which I'm going to make an alteration in my notes, being that he did that song. And number 5 is going to be believable. Be believable. Okay, like we said earlier about Gretchen Wilson. As an artist, people need to be able to relate with you, feel like they connect with you. Okay? It's interesting when people run for president, like several years ago, when there were two presidents, and politics doesn't matter, just this point does. One was worth 20 million and one was worth 35 million. Now, how many of most average people in the world can relate to being worth 20 to 30, 40 million? You could love to, yeah. But it was the job of their handlers to make them feel they were relatable, okay? And to get somebody to vote for them, to make them seem like an ordinary guy. So they would take pictures, they would invite the news crew over when they were going to be out, playing golf or having something to drink, ordering a burger. They wanted to say, hey, we're like one of the others. Well, how many of you go to eat a burger with 50 Secret Service people behind you? Okay, and then some already in the kitchen watching your burger being made. Okay, so, but you see the point. People who want to get their politicians elected understand that you've got to be believable, and as an artist, you've got to be real and be yourself. I was co-writing with Alex and maybe you, maybe Max. I'm not for sure, but we were doing three of us were writing one night, and there was a question about which direction this song was going to go. And I said, hey, you know what? Let the song be what it is. And you as an artist, be who you are. And don't be ashamed that you are a folk artist, or that you're a Christian artist, or that you're a country artist, or you're a pop artist, or rock artist, or you're polka, whatever it is that you do. Shout it on the rooftops. Be proud of it. I met twins, and they were identical, and to this day, I can't tell one from the other. Identical twins, and they met at a specific genre conference. But as we started talking, I kept hearing country. And I said, guys, have you ever thought about doing country? And they said, you think we could? Would that be okay? And I said, well, of course. And they were college students. I said, of course you can. You should be who you want to be as an artist. Because when you are, you're going to come across as more believable. And so write songs as well that are relatable. You know, I went to hear an artist perform. She's one of my favorite female vocalists. Her name is Nicole Smith Sponberg. And she's basically a white Aretha Franklin. Heard of Aretha Franklin? She's basically a white Aretha Franklin. And she did a demo. She was gracious to do a demo for me, even though she was a label, artist, major label artist. She did a demo for me one time. I went to hear her perform, and she's not really good, let me rephrase that. She would probably tell you that being a speaker is not one of the things that she's the most comfortable doing. But can she sing? And you just want to listen to her sing. But she stood there on the podium, and she said, if you don't mind, and she had some kind of shoes, and I don't know one shoes from the other, so ladies, you'll get this. But she said, these are so uncomfortable. So on the stage, she just kicked the shoes off, the sandals or whatever. She kicked them off. And she said, when I was in, she named the place, department store, she said, I thought they looked really cute with this belt and matched really well, but there's some of the most uncomfortable shoes that I've ever worn in my life. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to sing without any shoes on. You know what happened? The place erupted in laughter. And she would tell you she's probably not the most comfortable speaking. But you know what? Now, obviously, I found it humorous. I didn't quite relate to it because I'm a guy. But every female in that room related to her. Ladies, do you relate to her story? They smiled, they laughed, right? And you know what? She could have sung Mary Had a Little Lamb in a minor key after that. And people would have thought it was the most beautiful thing they'd ever heard. Why? Because she was relatable. So Brenda in the blue jersey, you want to be relatable. Okay, let's hear another artist. Welcome back. Incidentally, this guy has got a new EP that just came out. And so you can look him up online. I think it's the policy of the public library that there's not to be any type of merchandise or whatever, and we respect that. So you can always look him up online. But we're excited about these new songs that he's writing. And are you doing one from your new EP? Yes. Well, see, you're getting to hear it before the music industry does. Okay, maybe welcome down. Walk.
This is a love song.
I thought I was alone, all alone, all alone at the bottom of the sea. I thought I was alone, all alone, all alone in the valley of the deep. Underneath the waves I felt the pulsing of the sea. I heard silence in the wind. Sleeping in my grave, I thought that I would never see the daylight again. But you found me when I thought I was alone, all alone, all alone at the bottom of the sea. I thought I was alone, all alone, all alone in the valley of the deep. But all along, you were right in front of me. You were right in front of me. Underneath the vine I prayed for fire and to flood as I waited in your shade. But when the plant had died, there was a sadness in my blood. I felt my hope start to fade. But you showed me grace. I thought I was alone, all alone, all alone at the bottom of the sea. I thought tried to hide, you won't leave my side. Now I see you right in front of me. Yeah, I thought I was alone, all alone, all alone at the bottom of the sea. I thought I was alone, all alone, all alone in the valley of the deep. But all alone, all alone, all alone, you were right in front of me. You were right in front of me. Yeah, I thought I was alone, all alone, all alone at the bottom of the sea. I thought I was alone, all alone, all alone in the valley of the deep. But all alone, all alone, all alone, you were right in front of me. You were right in front of me. You were right in front of me.
Sam Allen. Good songwriter. Why am I standing here? I have my own microphone. Have it, I guess. Okay. I hope you've enjoyed the performances today. And you remember point number 4 under the artist, for those taking notes? Excuse me? That's correct. Guess what I'm getting ready to do? I'm getting ready to engage you. But before I do, I'm going to give you the last point. And that is, as an artist, Brandon, if you're taking notes, see there's that pressure, like, where's my pen? I better be grabbing my phone. Play. Play your music. You easily transfer that for songwriters to write your music. Write your music. I have been in the writing mode the last 4 or 5 weeks. Found myself at 2 a.m. Can't get a song out of my head. And so I'm sitting down at my Yamaha piano and playing the notes. 2 a.m. in the morning because the song wants to come out. And whether you're an artist or whether you're a writer or both, you need to be doing it. I don't care if you're getting paid for it or not. Most successful people played a zillion times for free before they had the opportunity of getting paid for it. And from someone who works in the music industry, I'll just tell you, if you're doing it for money, I think you're doing it for the wrong reason. I think that should be secondary. Yes, you have to pay your bills because NES, Metro Water, Comcast Cable, and others, and your landlord, they don't really care that you're a musician or artist or that you write great songs. They want you to pay your bills. But I feel like that the great and successful people, it's birthed out of passion. Like the fishermen who love to fish. Musicians and writers need to love to write. They need to love to write. They need to love to play. So, when I heard, I actually met Jordan about 2 years ago, briefly, but when I reconnected with him just recently, he was at the Nashville Rising Star. He was one of the top 4 finalists for that event. And when I had judged him in the preliminaries, as soon as he walked on the stage, I thought, because I didn't remember him, because when he had a different look or whatever, so I didn't first connect, oh, that's the guy that I met, 2 years ago. Because the last time I had seen him, he was working for corporate America, and he had on this 2-piece suit and a tie and all that kind of stuff. And if you roll up those sleeves, we didn't see those tattoos at the bank, okay? So I didn't recognize him. But what I instantly knew is this: wow, he's been on stage. I mean, he's been on stage. It's obvious. And when you write a lot, it's obvious to the publishers. They can see that you've been writing. Practice does make perfect. So as an artist, you need to be out playing. I don't care if you're playing with a group of this size or you're playing for 2 people. See, today, I didn't know what to expect. They advertised it, and thanks, Tina, for a wonderful event. And your for Zach and for everyone who put this on. But had there been 2 people here, you know what you'd have gotten? The very same thing. We would have given you 100%. I did a seminar in Mobile, Alabama. 2 people showed up. And you know what? Excuse me, 3. Let me correct that. I gave them my all. And I think as an artist or as a writer, you should do that too. I like to watch concession speeches from the person who loses the presidency. That may strike you as odd, but let me tell you why. Because they're very honest at that point. They have nothing to lose. They have no one to impress. So you know what they do? They speak more from the heart. And they're not going by what somebody, some script, or some speech, or what someone's told them to write. You see more of the real person that you've been watching. So I remember watching Mitt Romney's concession speech. And he made a comment that stands out to me. He said, "We have no regrets. We left it all out on the field. We gave it our all." And that's what you want to do as a writer and as an artist. Side note, music can be, for those of you who want to write for fun or therapy. How many do we have who would say, "I want to write for fun or therapy"? Raise your hand, don't be ashamed. I'm not asking if you have the bubonic plague.
Can you do both?
Yeah, yeah. It's very therapeutic. I understand that on a personal level all too well. I just lost a loved one way too soon. Since that time, what have I been doing? I've been sitting at my piano and writing. So, for those of you who want to do it for fun and therapy, do it. Do it. But let it come out. Right. If you're an artist, get out and play gigs, Brandon. Get out and play gigs. But do what you do. And don't be ashamed of what you do. If you write lyrics, poetry, whatever you do, create. Because I think you were designed to do that. I think that's how God made us. So now it's time for me to go back to point number 4, which was, and I'm going to engage you. Jordan, what genre do you see Jordan playing? If you were to say, here's a certain genre of music I feel like he would fit best in, what do you think that would be?
I'll say rock.
Folk rock. I say folk rock.
Folk rock.
Yeah.
We heard country.
Country.
And how many of you say country? Okay. And why do you say country?
Sounds like it.
Okay. And you said folk?
Folk rock. Folk rock.
Folk rock?
Yeah.
Because?
Well, it depends on the arrangement, but if you had a steel guitar, you'd say it's country, but I think they could cross over, probably.
The second song reminded me more of, if it was produced, I thought it could have been really driven more with electric guitars. I don't know, so I was thinking rock, I don't know.
Any others? Genres? Did you hear?
I don't know about genres, but I sensed a little Spanish flair there in that last song.
That was that good guitar action you did. Yes. That was very Spanish. And very nice. Cool intro. Draws you in.
That Ricky Martin that we were talking about.
Yeah. Okay. For Sam, or Samuel as I call him, what genre do you see him in? Alternative. As in giving us beside somebody.
Yeah, kind of like Nickelback, I guess. That would be an example.
Okay.
Americana.
Americana. As in, could you cite an artist or two? Okay. Anybody else?
I do remember Dave's Grid. Kind of that.
That would be more like folk.
Sort of like early John Mayer's.
Cool. I know this isn't the right tuning. Would you do a reversing chorus? Can you on piano of the first song on the EP? The first song on the EP.
Yeah.
Do it, yeah. This is what you call a willing artist.
Every time I see you, you're a little bit weaker. Every time I'm with you, you give me that fever. Baby, I'm helpless. No, I can't help it. Every time I kiss you, tastes a little bit sweeter. Don't know what it is, but I guess I just need ya. 'Cause baby, you're precious. You make me breathless. You got me feeling like it's the first time. You got me feeling right. And I'm falling all over, all over, all over, all over, all over again. Falling all over, all over, all over, all over, all over again. There ain't no way this love could end. Day by day I'm falling, and I'm falling all over, all over, all over, all over, all over again.
He had not planned to do that nor rehearsed, but a great artist rises to the occasion. Did he not do a great job? Okay. Some of you had the look on your face like, oh, he plays piano too. I could see that look on your face like, oh, he plays piano. Do you like him better on the guitar or the piano?
Yeah.
And he's great both. Do you like him better on which one though?
He's good on both.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, it's a little mix. So, with that said, your genre for him is all things considered.
Definitely. Jason Mrazzi, kind of, that band. Yeah.
He actually has several influences in him. He has with the guitar, you hear some of that folk that you guys mentioned. You also hear the pop. You hear a little bit of jazz blended in there too. So yeah, all with the singer-songwriter feel. Okay, let's make this one stand up. Being he's the quietest of the three. Okay, what genre do you see Maxwell in?
Alternative.
Your answer was?
Alternative.
Alternative, as in cite me one or two artists.
One or two artists.
Yeah, like in an alternative, because alternative means different things to different people. So
Yeah. Like what do you mean? Like different?
artists that he reminds you of.
Oh,
Alternative
like
artists.
Jason Mraz.
Okay. Other genres. Or do you guys agree with? Where would you say?
Not because of a small guitar, but kind of a tune.
Yeah.
Yeah, very unique vocal style. And, like Ed Sheeran, that kind of rock.
Yeah, we do that a good bit. Any other thoughts?
His voice is very pleasant, very calm, very quiet. That catches you immediately.
As if you say mine's not.
Yours is wonderful.
I'm not a singer. I just work.
His is very pleasant.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah.
We get that a lot. Okay, you can sit down. You've been a good student. Did you have something to say?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I hate to compare artists to other artists. You know, I know artists hate that too. But you know, if you're gonna, because I hate to pigeonhole people, but you know, just somebody like that. That's what it made me think of. So that's why I picked that.
Awesome.
I didn't want to think anyone.
Awesome. Well, I have engaged the audience again. And I hope you've had as much fun as we have. It's been a pleasure. I have 30 minutes. Well, I take that back. We were to be through at 4, is that correct?
Right.
That's right. And the library closes what time?
4:30.
4:30. Okay, so we can be in the hall, that's my point. But anybody who wants to talk to us, or the artist or whatever, I have another appointment that I have to leave at 4:30, but until that time, me and my artists are happy to talk with you. And thanks again, Tina and Zach and for the library and for you guys. I realize I moved around a good bit, so the camera crew, appreciate you being a part of this. It was our honor. I love to do this. We've been doing seminars for years and years. And so thank you for being a part of it. And I want you to know that I speak from the bottom of my heart when I say that I wish you much success with your music. And I hope that many good things and open doors come your way. God bless.
How'd y'all like the show?
Great.
All right. Well, thank you for coming. And like he said, they'll be out in the hall to talk to anyone. And we will see you next month on the first Saturday of November.
Welcome to Poets from the Neighborhood. I'm Victoria Clausey.
And I'm Erin Glass. We hope that you enjoy these poems we'll be reading today, poems written by your friends and neighbors. The first poem I'm going to read today is The Franklin Sisters by Susie Sims Irvin. Franklin Sisters. They're selling their things today at auction. The frail little Franklin sisters won't be there. They no longer count the collection in the Presbyterian Church vestibule every Sunday, or take their walk at 3 o'clock every afternoon. In long black coats, a red felt hat and a blue, Miss Lolly's hand on Miss Alice's arm. They've moved them out now to the Harpeth Terrace nursing home. The church gave them a lovely reception, but they weren't there either. They never did approve of serving refreshments at the church. Still don't. Every afternoon now at the nursing home, they put on their long black coats, the red hat and the blue, and pack their shopping bags for home. Then one or the other whispers, "Sister, they've been so lovely to us today. It would be such a shame to hurt their feelings. Shouldn't we just stay this night?" And they hang up their coats and their hats.
Soccer at 7 years old by S.R. Lee. Park grass thin where young feet run while a ball flies back, forth, back, forth. Fathers shout, "Good job," from sidelines. Mothers keep water bottles. Grandmas stay in lawn chairs. Young legs pump for speed, back, forth, back, forth. Coach rotates players. Shoes come untied, a few tears flow. 4-minute quarters. Give players good measure of boiling action, claims a coach. Ending with good sport hand claps and an arch formed of parent arms, under which run young teams, cheering, cheering, cheering.
In Awe by Vera Jacques. Are cardinal red and cawing blue jay, golden finch to green parrot, brush strokes of joy from the Almighty's palette? Are fluttering butterflies, spotted and striped, flowing designs from God's kaleidoscope?
Bird Book by Sherry Page. The crackled grouse sits on the coffee table, robin's egg blue to match the pillows. In my chair by the window, bird book in hand, I note the arrival of the dark-eyed junco. Only days before, I had him by another name, warbler, wren, finch. Today, though, marks a new day. No more misnomers, please. Let me know them from my naked eye and call them by their proper names: beautiful, graceful, trusting, strong, musical, grateful, all day long.
Easily Convinced by Jeff Harden. Certain mornings still down to a heartbeat, coffee, steam, and listening. In nearby oak leaves, tremors begin, sent from cracks forming in some Jericho wall. Sweat on my skin cools me down to the core. I'm easily convinced a kingdom's at hand. This thought that I am is prologue to more. I come to where I am along a route I'd never find again. Up and down furrows readied for seed. My feet still slide down a blade-turned earth. Let it be known I pray for long life and slow days. And this boldness I feel in asking for such knows no shame, even if this day becomes my last. My grandma in her last year saw angels gathering beside her bed. With all I've seen, so easy to believe her, the unseen, too, teeming to tell its storehouse of miracles.
Perhaps, by Louise Kahn. And if your door is open, perhaps I will come in and get to know you, your favorite memory, your deepest pain. You will trust that to me? You think Macbeth deserved his fate. You watch Law and Order at night alone. The best art is peaches on a plate. You secretly love sonnets. The one you wrote your teenage love lives hidden in your soul. Thank you for watching. We hope you'll join us again for Poets from the Neighborhood.